soothing to you, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the vibes. Let's get started. So as you can see, I'm holding this book here. I mentioned earlier in the year, very briefly I believe, that I had a notebook that I was writing down all of my ASMR ideas into, and then I lost the book. And I actually had a lot in there because I started it last year around November or October, maybe even September actually, but then I lost it, right? So I was like, I lost it earlier in the year though, this year, and so I had a lot of plans in there, a lot of ideas that they got scrapped because I forgot. And I was like, okay, let me just start writing my ideas down again because I'll think of something, I'll be like, oh, that's such a good idea, and then I'll forget all about it. Or I'll be like, this trigger sounds really good with that trigger, I need to write it down. And so, and on and so and such, right? So I finally decided to buy a new book. I bought this book maybe a month and a half ago, not that long ago, but it was specifically for ASMR. It's the only thing I'll be using this book for. And I put some of my leftover stickers on here just because I'll probably end up taking them off and putting them on that subscriber appreciation board at some point. But for now they're here. So what do you think? Isn't it pretty legit though? It's like sparkling blue. I love that. Got it from the Dollar Tree for a buck. A buck something, since nothing is a buck there anymore. But yeah, so I won't. So it's so funny because I don't normally, when I use a notebook, I don't normally use the first couple of pages. I normally keep them blank or write something with the F11 on them. But just the other day I decided to use this front page because I was doing Brandon, get it together. I was doing a name shout out, and I was just writing down the names as I was finding them. And yeah, so it just said, here's the next one. I have no idea what this means. Who knows what I was doing at that time? I might have just been bored. I don't know. But then you have this pair up here, and this is also added recently because really it starts on that page. But I was like, next up, these are just ideas that aren't part of the plots that I put together in the back. That I thought, I can just put these together. So it's like, this is the subscriber appreciation board. That also means next up. And then there's, I want to use my spray misters again. And I like with my liquid bottle and stuff like that. And my notebook is already in here. And then I wanted to show you guys that little plastic teddy thing that I got from my nephew. And an audible, which I already did. I just did that. We got mic scratching, which I need to do soon. I already did mouth sounds. And of course, reading the book Your Special. I think that'll be volume 4. I enjoyed doing those ones. Those are my favorites, honestly. And then this is the video that I'm doing right now, Reader Essentials. So, and then it has all the things on here that I wanted to kind of discuss. So, yeah. And then you had on the other page, just I wrote down the video concepts that I wanted to go through and do. And so we have just this whole thing of videos that I have to do. And some of them are scratched off because I've done them, but the majority of them aren't. So, yeah. That's all you need to say for that. But that is my ASMR itinerary guide, whatever you want to call it. What should we call this? What do you call this? We can give it a special name. My ASMR what? Leave it in the comments below. So, next up we have a bit of a double whammy. person angle, which I've been using more recently. Like, I think I did my most recent. Am I lying? I don't think that's right. I no. I've used this a couple times now, and I do like it. It makes it very easy to do stuff in first person. So you just take your phone and you put it in there. It was advertised to be used to watch stuff, but I don't use it to watch anything. Actually, I went to my friend a while back, and I did use it for that. I was just over there like on the recliner, just chilling. But I got it for the channel and for doing things that need to be seen from a certain angle, especially when I don't want to have to hook it up to the tripod on a going down angle, because I don't get to actually watch it in real time because it'll be hanging up. So it's like I don't know if something's messing up or not. But yeah, I got this on Temu. And if I can remember the price, I'll put it up on the thing, or I'll just go into the app and see how much I paid for it in my orders section. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. When I got this was something I added on at the very end. This wasn't the one that I wanted. I actually wanted this one. This is a much smaller one. This was what gave me the idea in the first place. I guess these were kind of made with the GoPro in mind, but then they started making them for phones, and I saw somebody with one in another video a while back, and I was like, oh, that's actually really neat. I could really do some interesting stuff with that on the channel. I should get one of those. And so yeah, I got this. This was actually more expensive than this one, and this one is way more versatile, because it uses this like wire base instead of this like just this plastic thing, and this will only go around your neck, so the perspective is much more fixed. And because I got a big neck and several chins to boot, I can't really monitor it while I'm using it, so I kind of have to have faith. So, and I'm trying to think if I used this one in particular on the channel yet. Yes, I believe I just used this. Yeah, I think I shot my subscriber appreciate. Wait, is that right? Am I lying? Yeah, I believe I believe I shot the subscriber appreciation more video with that one. So, and I think I was thinking about using this one, but I said no, let me try out that one. So, but yeah, and so I also got that one from Temu. I got them at the same time, so that was already what I was buying. And then I saw this thing, and it was cheaper, and it was just like, it seems so much more generic, honestly. But I thought, well, I'll just get it just in case. And I thought if I don't like it, I'll just give it to my mom or something, so she can mindlessly watch TikTok. Anyways, but that's not what ended up happening. So, but yeah, I like it. As you can see, I can put it in different orientations and such. So, very neat work. Yeah. And like I said, in this instance, this is like a wire base. I can adjust it. And honestly, because it's so far out, I can watch. So, that is these little things. I'm not sure what they're called. They're like neck mounts. But yeah. So, very happy with these. Next up, we have my little fill light. I actually bought this on a whim last year. I was already making like a Temu order. It was going to be a bigger one at the time, and at the very end, this thing came up for super cheap, and I thought it looks generic, but I'll go ahead and I don't remember why I got this. It was not originally for the channel because I didn't think this little thing would be any good. However, this thing is actually fantastic. It's got several different modes. It's got 3 different, like, temperature modes, you know what I mean? Warm, you know what I mean? And it's very, very bright. It does not hold a charge very well, though, I will say that. So I normally keep it plugged in when I'm using it. Because actually, I did use this last year a couple times before I started working with all the lights. It was like the one light I was using, I think. And I remember I was shooting the video. I was literally in the video shooting I think it was one of the first times I was using it, and it turned off, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. So it was a whole thing, but it was like I realized that it does generate a lot of energy. It gets really hot, so that battery is gonna go. size is a thing. It's such an odd. These are odd features to have in a fill, I think. But that's just me. Go ahead and turn you off. Off. Oh, am I hitting the wrong button? No. But yeah, so like I said, this was pretty cheap, and it came in way more handy than I thought it was going to. And really, had I known then that this was going to be so good, I would have got a couple. So, look, this little box thing is so powerful. Unfortunately, I can't use it as much now because somehow I broke off this little piece here, and that's where the screw mounts go. So I literally can't put this onto a tripod at all now because somehow I was able to break that, and it's my fault because I kept dropping this thing, and I'm pretty sure it's my. I had it on a tripod, and it fell, and you know what I mean. So it's my fault, but it's so nice, but it's so hard to use now because I have to like leverage it up onto something, or like the piece that goes in here. I have to like shimmy it, right? I have to kind of shimmy it in there, and it'll be kind of like this, and then I gotta make sure it doesn't fall or something like that, right? Anyways, that's this. So yeah, an essential that I don't use so much nowadays, but it's nice to have back. Next we have my newer lights. I just got these. You watched my most recent haul, you saw these. These are very much in the same vein as the other ones you just saw. And they're bright as heck. One's RPG, one's regular. I wanted the RPG so I can have some what do you call it? Some color going on, some contrast. And I do like it. I haven't figured out how I'm going to work with my setup because really I gotta figure out what I'm doing with my my little black tarp here because it's blocking the window. So because the window will create white out and it's just basically a big white patch. You've seen it before because I didn't use this before recently, but it creates a big white out and it really messes up the video. And I'm realizing now that there's actually some leakage happening here. Why is there leakage happening though? Do I gotta move you further back or do I want to move you up? I don't really care about that kind of leakage right at the moment though. Anyways, actually wait a minute. Okay, we're there. Anyways, so yeah, and I just tested this one out recently, and I like it. I really, really like it. Did I show you guys in the last video? Yeah, I did show you when I did the haul. But yeah, I really like it, and so it'll go back there. It'll go back there, ideally, and you'll see what color is this? Is it just on that one color? Yes, like or the worst possible color I could have chose. Also, we don't want red. Let's do purple or blue. They're purple, and so you know you kind of get the gist, right? But I gotta figure out the logistics to make it in the right spot because obviously I've got props back there like Pikachu. It's like, will Pikachu still be there? Should I move him? I don't know. But he's also inside my my photo box there, which I was using for like photography, taking up close things. Really, I was wanting to have my mic in there and to do like super up close shots of like the mic and me using the mic, you know what I mean? Basically from first person and without you seeing the background, you know what I mean? So it would block, but the mic stand is too big, you know what I mean? I need a bigger one of those to pull off what I had in mind. So I've just kept it back there and it can collapse. So it's not like I have to keep it in I have to have it up. I can collapse it and put it away somewhere, but yeah, so I really like this. And then that's the RGB one, and then you have just the regular. And mind you, it doesn't just do the RGB. It's basically this in addition to being RGB, but this is the one that will be used for additional light up here. So it's basically the same thing. Like I don't really need to go through a whole lot. course, the strobe, we don't know why, but they insist. They insist. But yeah, so very nice. If you're shooting in video, like if you're a YouTuber and you're just trying to get into it, at a certain point you'll start looking at your lighting, and these things come in handy. I would get them sooner than later. And like I said, I got all these on Temu, super cheap, way cheaper than if I went anywhere, like physically. Unless Ollie's has these, but I don't even think Ollie's would sell these at the price Temu does. So, but these are great, and they'll help with your lighting. So, let's see, let's move on. So, I have a light here. I can't, let me just see if I can show you. We have a light here, okay? That's one light, and then we have my other light here. That's the main big light here. At some point last year, I was looking at my videos. I'm like, I don't like what this is doing to my face. So, and I was looking, I'm like, why does so-and-so have such good lighting? What am I doing wrong? There's a lot of logistics that goes into getting their light right. So, yeah, and this light's on a tripod. This one came with this tripod. It's one of the better tripods because I bought a ring light late last year that I was really excited about. It was an RGB ring light, and it was just kind of garbage. It came with this, where is that thing at? Oh, it's over there. It'll probably end up being pitched. I ended up having to tape it to keep it up. The way it was designed is just stupid. I've never seen a design like that before. It's just dumb and unintuitive, and I didn't like it. That being said, and like I said, it came with the RGB ring light, which was very weak. The old ring light that I used to use was way powerfuler. It didn't have RGB, but even like the regular light, it was better. But even with the RGB, it was just so weak, weaker than the RGB light I just showed you, which is a small little box versus a giant ring. So I have essentially never used it. I think I used it I used it for a little bit actually, but not as the main light source. I had it over here for a while, and it just wasn't doing enough, which is why I ended up getting this one sometime in the middle of the first half of the year. So, yeah, and then we got this one after the fact because I was like, I need this. This will create a lot of illumination. This is what, in my mind, this is what I think I needed to begin with. Like, if I were to have started, like if I had a budget at the very beginning, right? And I was like, I need to get light set up. I would have gotten two of those, right? Which would have been really crazy because my setup is so small over here. I don't know how that would have worked. It would have been insane because I already hate having to put so much of this stuff up and move it out of the way once I'm done shooting. And that's like the worst one, honestly. But I wanted two of them. But like I said, I thought because of my space is small, I wouldn't need it. But I wasn't really using it right to begin with. And I've been, working on logistics for a while. And now I realized that I didn't want the light to be so close to me, forward facing. And like I said, you guys know that I'm also having a problem with the greens. I don't like the situation with that, but I believe for that I need a higher up light, and this can go high. This tripod that this thing came with is super duper tall. I wish they were all this tall, because this goes a little higher, but not much further. But that thing will like go up to the ceiling basically, so that light can be well above me. But I would need something. Basically, I need to get a tripod like that, and maybe put it over here. Right, and then have it extend to almost its maximum and have it angled down so that the light would be hitting my head and it would separate like my body and frame from the green screen. That way when I'm creating a shot with that screen, there won't be all those little artifacts or all that awkward generic looking fragmentation that you get when there's like a dark that we have our mic arms. So I don't know if I'll show you the one that my phone right now is on. I'll show you like a picture of what it looked like in the box, or from the thing. I won't show you an actual. Maybe I will. We'll see. But this one, I had two of these, and the other one, it crapped out. I mainly used it for like my ad flip throughs, and so it would it goes up and then bam, and so my phone would be up here and it would be facing downward, and it would shoot. However, something happened out of nowhere where it didn't like the piece that I needed to angle it. It wouldn't lock. So there's like a little screw where you can move the things in a certain direction. It'll hold. The screw, it stopped screwing. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't elevate it anymore. It would just stay down. Basically became useless, and I can't figure it out how that happened. But it might just be a product of the design. So I've been very careful with this one, because if it happens twice, I won't have another arm. But then I ended up getting this other arm, this swivel arm. I got this swivel arm because I think it's more versatile for the way that I shoot, and it's better for my mukbangs in the grand scheme of things. But this one's neat because it's lower, but I can also make it go high, whereas I can't reverse that one. I mean, it can be low, but it's more awkward. It doesn't have the. I'll show you because I can actually detach it from its base. Right. So this is the mic arm. Right. So there's the base over there. It also comes with this extender, and I often use this for the mukbangs, and I believe I use it when I go live. I have it lowered now because when I was shooting something the other day, I was like, this is too high. But yeah, it's very well built. I don't know what to call this. Is it metal? It's very robust, versus whatever that thin aluminum is. I think it'll blow away in the wind. And so you can go in these different angles here. This can also go up. I have to loosen the screws here. But it can go up, right? So if I wanted to, I could unscrew this one right here. So it will go down, and then I can have this go up, right? And then the mic would be facing downward, and then it would be however I had it, but it would be up in the air, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't be down here. I've never used a mic like that before, because I can technically do it with this one where I would have it screwed into there, and just screw it into it, and it would be coming down. But it does, first of all, it doesn't extend as far, for one thing, but it's also a little too heavy for that. And yeah, but I really like this. This is like my more favorite purchases. And I believe I want another one. I want another one to replace the other one that I use. So I'll just have two of these because they're so versatile. So who knows when I'll get that? Hopefully, maybe by the end of the year, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, these are kind of essential too for creating content. If you are somebody who is in front of the camera, obviously, and you're using a microphone or something, it just helps with the flow, especially if your space is small. Because before I got these arms, my space was already so small, and the mic has its own stand, and that stand is just kind of big and thick and in the way a lot of the time. It doesn't allow for a lot of versatility, especially if doing mukbangs. I hated it for that. So once I got a mic arm, I was able to not have that big bass in the way. That was a big help. And yeah, I have not went back since I motion also. And yeah, that would just be nice. So that's the other thing. Now, mind you, I'm just hitting everything with this, so there's a lot of things I'm gonna have to cut up. But let me put this back. But yeah, and so there's a piece over there, very strong clamp, and then it's got that piece that's highly elevated already, and then this will go in it. But if I wanted to go higher, I would just add this piece to it, right? So hopefully you get the gist. So anyways, that is the mic arm that I really like. And so yeah, we've got my little fisheye for the front facing. Now I have a Moment lens for the back, and that is actually rather expensive. Bought that years, and I bought it when I first started the channel. But you got to use a specific case with your phone to use it. It's not just some clip-on type of deal. But I've used this for like doing super close-ups. But yeah, this comes in handy for different perspectives. I've also used it a couple times for my ad flip-throughs. And I stopped using these, even the other one, because it just created too much, a bit of I don't want to say distortion, but it created a problem with the focus. So if you have the camera way up here and the thing is way down here, it's just not focusing right because of that extra layer of glass that it's not used to. So it wasn't working for that instance because, yeah. So, and then last year, I haven't used this at all this year, but I got this for shooting with my back facing camera, when I was still doing that. But I ended up having too many problems with that. And so I was just like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll just use the front facing camera. And, which, the quality difference is actually huge, but it is what it is. But yeah, I bought this so that it'll just snap onto the back of the phone, and I would be able to have a reference for, what's going on. But yeah, I haven't used that all year, but it's helpful if you're somebody who does shoot with your back-facing camera, because it gives you reference. It gives you a good reference, because just looking at the lens, you don't, when you're using the front-facing, you have a viewfinder, you can see the frame, but this helps you know what you would actually be seeing and like how you look doing a certain thing, and it's it's got a nice angle of degrees, a nice degree of angle. So you got my bag of peripherals of not necessarily peripherals, but like there's a mini. So in this bag here, you have a whole bunch of like accessories that came with like the mounts or the tripods that'll help me basically attach different things to different things, like my mic or my phone or my lights. So like these little things. And these things are like for your arms and whatnot, but I also use one on my tripod because it helps with angles, because I can adjust this ball, and I've just got plenty of these things. And I've got extra phone clips. So the one that I'm using is actually right now is really nice. And that, okay, yeah. Then we have I wanted to use it for my mic. However, my mic arms, the Yeti uses this. It's a standard for microphones, but it wasn't standard for like regular tripods. So I had to buy like a little adapter piece that is on there. But it came with this, all these other little bits too for like other tripods and whatnot. So I haven't needed these, but they're nice to have. That's another piece for the Yeti. And then just, you know, a little universal screw thing. We've got another one of those things. It just, you know, this looks like it can also maybe go into a shoe of a camera with that square piece down there. If you know, you know. And so we've got another really bad shape little what's in the thingy, and then looks like we've got two more things. This one, which I used to use this one all the time, but it's just, I don't know. And then this might be the fourth and final one of these. And they're all not built equally. The one I have on here now actually uses a screw mechanism, which is way better, way more versatile. But you have these stretch ones, and sometimes they're just kind of finicky. But yeah, we've got my mini tripod. Now this came with something. It came with like a camera set. I feel it came with a set of something. It might have come with. I don't know what this came with. I almost never used it though. But more recently, I think I used it once recently because it actually is way more like robust than I realized. Versus you get a whole lot of other ones. I got this from like Amazon years and years ago, so this is an old one. But like some of the other ones nowadays where they're like, they have the little nubs that you can kind of adjust, they're just not sturdy enough. They have a very limited weight capacity, even when it comes to phones. So they're just not ideal, but this thing will hold my mic or my phone just fine. Because it's made out of like metal or steel. But it's very nice. I would have used it better last year, but you know. Next up, we've got my microphones. So, but yeah, you have my wireless mics, which honestly, I'm just not too thrilled about them. They're not that great, but they were super hella cheap. But I'm thinking now, though, is that they're better to be used together than independently. So with that in mind, next time I use them, I will be using both. You know what I mean? And we'll see how that goes. But using just one at a time, So, but I got these earlier in the year, and my idea was to use them in like being in a store video, you know, kind of deal. And I still haven't done that video yet. And even if I do it, I probably won't use that now. So either I'll take the Yeti, which will be a whole thing, or I'll use one of these other two here. Now these, as you can see here, this is my little adapter for the phone, because we're still on the 10. So it's the lightning, and then you gotta plug it into that thing, because these microphones would go right into the headphone jack, but there is not one. But this was the original mic I used when I started the channel. So I used this for a good while before I got my Yeti. This was from a company called Pop Voice. I bought it off of Amazon from between $9 and $20. I don't remember. Very great quality. But I think I saw this on someone else's channel. And it was before I started my channel, obviously. And I was like wanting to do ASMR, but I could not afford a Yeti out of the gate. And I was just like, man, I wish I could do something. I wish I had one. And I saw someone use one of these on their channel. I was like, oh, the sound of that thing is amazing. Let me get one of those. I can start my channel with that. And so that's exactly what I did. These things are fantastic. They're also really, really, really good for mukbangs. So if you're somebody who does mukbangs, these create great sound. They're not greatest with like the fidelity, you know what I mean? Those little details in there, you know, but it'll get you the sound you want. So really great for people who maybe aren't using headphones, that kind of deal. And so yeah, and then you have this one here. Got this one earlier in the year. Somehow dented it. Don't know how I did that, but this is also pretty good quality. It's not as good as this, but it's still pretty good quality, especially since this one costed like only a couple bucks. And it comes with a headphone monitor, but it doesn't work very well when you have to use an adapter to use the phone, use it in the first place, right? So it kind of, once you plug it into this thing, it just kind of goes haywire. But it's very neat and also surprisingly robust. So I got this one to do more smaller triggers types of deal. Also, I just think it's cute. And I keep this around just in case, you know what I mean? I lost my little clip for it. So a lot of the time I'll use, what is that at? I don't know where it's at. I'll use the wireless one, and I'll just have it like, I'll take this and I'll clip it onto me like that. I'll just do that. I haven't used it in a while though. I used it for a mukbang earlier in the year. I think I was eating noodles maybe, and so that was my go-to for that. So here is another piece to my old tripod. This is what I was thinking of earlier with my old tripod, is that it came with this piece. So without this piece, the whole tripod is useless. And I don't know if that is, I don't know what's that about. It was very stupid. So I could screw this into the camera, right? So let's find something. Let's say this is the camera, right? And then I would take this piece and put it onto the tripod. And so this is a little switch. It'll open up where there's a little square indenture for down here. This is just to kind of lock it in place. To lock. Wait, what is this for? Or to help unscrew. But anyways, so there's this little square here, and so the tripod has a empty space square that's kind of locked in with the switch. So you just move the switch, and it'll create a little space for you to put it in there, and then it'll lock back in there. But I just think this mechanism is dumb, because I really can't use this for anything else, and then the tripod is completely useless without this piece. And I've never seen that on anything else. So besides that tripod is out of commission completely now anyways. So I'm not even sure why I even still have this piece. I mean, because I didn't throw the tripod away yet. But at this point, you can definitely also, I wish I had figured out how I was going to explain this stuff before, you know, because really I'm just showing you what I'm doing, but I also wanted it to be a guide, but it's not really so much. I'm just really showing you what I do. But yeah, so we have our trigger bag 1. Bought this off of Temu because it was literally like less than $1, or maybe it was like $2. And it's just called wash bag. I think that's funny, but it literally just has triggers in it. So you've got my little 3D printed gadgets are in here. My little DIY trigger. My little things here. It's just an assortment of different types of cinder block here. The other 3D printed crap that's in there also, and just a few more things, but there's triggers in there, right? I really like this one though. This holds all my squishies. Also Temu, also dirt cheap. But it's actually really nice. What is a wash bag, by the way? This one has my squishies, so we've got capybara. We've got, darn it, I forget your name. What is your name again? We named you. Are you Leonardo? I think this is Leonardo. And the other ones, I'm not gonna go and grab them all out of here, but you get the gist. Squishies. no man's land. I don't know. This design is very strange to me. I'm sure it's supposed to be a knockoff of something. Let me know in the comment if you're some kind of fashionista. But it looks like it's trying to be a mock-up of something because this design is kind of garbage. It's not intuitive. It's not very. It's just I don't like it. But we've got triggers in here. We've got different, more harder sounding triggers in this one here. I keep saying I'm gonna wear these in the video, and I keep forgetting. Let me take these out and put them over here. I don't know what I'll use them for, but. And so we've got, like my other glasses are in here. My little thing here. My fidget spinner. And this stupid thing that I decided to keep for some reason. And just a lot of random stuff. This thing with the turtles in them. Okay. What was it? Oh yeah, because it begins so hot. It begins so hot with these lights. Okay, and so over here, I'll have to show you. That'll be a separate video because this is part of my overall setup. It's not really part of my essentials, or it's not something that I use for production. It's just part of the setup. So I'll show you that in a different video. One day I'll show you the full setup, my totally small full setup. I'll do that in another time, and so you'll see my little shelf over here with all of my ASMR goodies. It's just this whole shelf is exclusively for my ASMR stuff and whatnot. So you'll see that in the future. One other thing I wanted to show you was, well, that I use is obviously this little adapter here. Just plug in the Yeti into the phone to begin with, and it uses it just has a plug here, and it uses I'll put a picture of it. But yeah, and it has an extra slot for me to plug in an additional lightning cord to charge. So I never use that because I think it messes up the playback. It messes with the sync. It messes up something. So I just I don't do it because it would help if I were able to actually have a power source in my phone, because obviously you have this big microphone draining the energy from the phone. It's gonna die pretty fast. But that I don't trust having it plugged into the power anymore. So a few times I've done it, it's been a disaster. So anyways, that's it. I think that I've shown you most of the goodies, so you get an idea of some of the things that I use. I'm not using everything all at once, obviously. Like I'm only using 2 lights at the moment, but we'll see how we do it. But one of those the RGB light's going to be used back there somehow, or maybe up here. I did see how it looked going face first, and I did like that, so we'll see. But yeah, you see the little neck things, those get used for the first person perspective stuff. And yeah, so let me know what you think. Was this an insightful video for you? Let me know. And I appreciate you watching. Please give it a like. I guess there's a new thing called hype. Give it a hype. We're gonna figure out a phrase for that. You know what I mean? We can't just be like, "Can you give me a hype?" It doesn't sound right. We need something for that. Go ahead and hype. Give me some hype. Yo, hype me up. Hype me up. Do that. And if you're new, y'all, go ahead and give us a subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. But that's it. That's the video. That is the video. This is the longest video I've shot in a while. So thank you for watching. And